Welcome to the Reality Revolution. In this episode, you will enter the God frequency. For me, it happened during what should have been a normal, ordinary morning meditation. I wasn't seeking anything extraordinary, just my usual practice, but that day something shifted. As my mind quieted, I felt a sudden surge of energy move through my body, starting at the base of my spine, radiating outward. The boundaries between me and everything else dissolved. In that state, a clear thought emerged about a project that I had been struggling with for months. A complete solution appeared fully formed in my mind. What was most remarkable wasn't just the clarity of insight, but what happened afterward. Within days, opportunities aligned effortlessly. People I needed to connect with reached out to me unexpectedly. Resources appeared. What should have taken months manifested in a matter of days. I've had many experiences like that since that day. Many that seem miraculous. Sudden visions of the universe. An opening beyond the veil. This is the God frequency. I'm not talking about some complicated or esoteric spiritual concept. This is a forgotten technology of consciousness, a specific state of being that transforms your relationship with reality itself. When you enter into this state, you can manifest anything that you want. The ancients knew about this. Every mystical tradition points to it. But somewhere along the way, we forgot how to access it consistently. What you're about to experience is reality reprogramming at the most fundamental level. When you enter the God frequency, you don't ask the universe for what you want. You become the creator force itself. The God frequency isn't just another vibration in the universe. It's the original source code of reality itself. Think of it as the fundamental programming language that creates everything we experience. It's not something separate from you or something you need to reach toward. It's the very substrate from which all existence emerges, including you. Throughout history, we find frequency artifacts, evidence of people who have momentarily accessed this state of consciousness. These artifacts appear across cultures and time periods. The inexplicable precision of ancient megalithic structures, artwork that seems to defy the knowledge of its era, mathematical discoveries that appeared simultaneously to different people across the globe with no communication between them. The concept of accessing divine consciousness, or what I'm calling the God frequency, has appeared throughout human history under various names and frameworks. Ancient Indian Vedic texts dating over 5,000 years describe states of consciousness called turiya and samadhi, experiences beyond ordinary awareness where one merges with universal consciousness. The Upanishads speak of achieving Brahman consciousness, a state of unity with the divine creative force of the universe. These weren't considered theoretical concepts, but achievable states through specific practices. In ancient Egypt, the mystery schools taught initiates techniques for accessing expanded states of consciousness. Hieroglyphic records describe rituals and practices designed to elevate consciousness to divine levels. The concept of becoming Osiris represented the transformation of human consciousness into divine consciousness, not after death, but during life. Greek mystery traditions like the Eleusinian mysteries centered around experiences that modern scholars believe involved profound alterations in consciousness. Participants reported direct communion with divine intelligence and described these experiences as more real from ordinary reality. The biblical tradition contains numerous references to humans accessing divine consciousness. Moses' encounter with the burning bush, Ezekiel's visions, and the transfiguration of Jesus all describe experiences where human consciousness merged with divine awareness. The statement in Psalms, "Be still and know that I am God," can be understood as an instruction for accessing higher consciousness. Eastern traditions developed sophisticated techniques for achieving these states. Tibetan Buddhism's Dzogchen practices aim at recognizing Rigpa, primordial awareness beyond ordinary mind. Taoist inner alchemy sought to create the golden flower, a metaphor for transformed consciousness that could directly influence reality. Islamic Sufism developed practices like dhikr, rhythmic repetition, and sama, spiritual concert, to facilitate states where the boundaries between human and divine dissolved. The great Sufi masters taught that the ultimate human potential was complete unity with Allah, not in theory but in direct experience. The Western mystery traditions, including Hermeticism, Rosicrucianism, and various esoteric orders, preserved techniques for accessing higher consciousness throughout the Middle Ages and Renaissance. The Hermetic axiom, "as above, so below," points to the fundamental unity between cosmic and human consciousness. The 20th century saw these ancient understandings reframed in more contemporary language. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious proposed a shared field of consciousness accessible to all humans. Physicists like David Bohm suggested that consciousness itself may be the fundamental to reality, not simply an emergent property of the brain. Neuroscientific research has identified distinctive brainwave patterns associated with mystical experiences, suggesting biological correlates to these states of consciousness. Studies of long-term meditators show measurable changes in brain function and structure that correlate with expanded awareness. Contemporary consciousness researchers have documented consistent patterns in transcendent experiences across cultures and time periods. The persistent reports of direct access to a field of pure creative potential suggest a universal human capacity rather than culturally conditioned beliefs. What all these traditions and fields of inquiry point to is remarkably consistent. Humans possess the innate capacity to access states of consciousness that transcend ordinary awareness, states where the creative power typically attributed to the divine becomes directly accessible. The God frequency isn't a new discovery, but the contemporary articulation of humanity's oldest and most profound understanding of our true potential. Throughout history, individuals have documented profound experiences of accessing the God frequency. Teresa of Avila, the 16th century Christian mystic, described her experience. The soul is suspended in such a way that it seems completely outside itself. The will loves, the memory is almost lost. The understanding does not work discursively, but is amazed at all it comprehends, for God desires that it understands nothing of what it experiences. Paramahansa Yogananda recounted, "A swelling glory within me began to envelope towns, continents, the earth, solar and stellar systems, tenuous nebula, and floating universes. The entire cosmos glistened within the infinitude of my being." Walt Whitman captured this state in Song of Myself, saying, "I am large, I contain multitudes. I am the mate and companion of people, all just as immortal and fathomless as myself." Rumi described his direct experience. "All day I think about it, then at night I say it. Where did I come from, and what am I supposed to be doing? I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere, I'm sure of that, and I intend to end up there." Hildegard of Bingen, a 12th century mystic, wrote of her experience, "The brightness was so great that I could not look at it. And the shadow of the living light appeared also in the form of a human being, and I heard a voice saying to me, 'I am the living light who illuminates the darkness.'" Richard Maurice Buke documented his spontaneous awakening. All at once, without any warning, I found myself wrapped in a flame-colored cloud. I knew that the light was within myself. Directly afterward came upon me a sense of exaltation, of immense joyousness, accompanied or immediately followed by an intellectual illumination impossible to describe. Ramana Maharshi described his awakening. The shock of the fear of death drove my mind inwards, and I said to myself mentally, without actually framing the words, "Now death has come. What does it mean?" I felt that I had died and that the body would be carried off to the burning ground. The I consciousness remained in all its intensity, and I knew that it was not related to the body. Black Elk, the Oglala Lakota medicine man, recounted, "I was standing on the highest mountain of them all, and round about beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell, and I understood more than I saw, for I was seeing in a sacred manner the shapes of all things in the spirit, and the shapes of all shapes as they must live together like one being." These accounts, spanning cultures and centuries, share remarkable similarities, describing direct experiences that I can relate to, and I want to bring this God frequency to you. We live in an environment, in a New Earth environment, where anyone can experience this God frequency. And more importantly, you can utilize this to manifest anything that you want. The path to accessing the God frequency consistently requires navigating the 3 doors. These aren't barriers. They are transformation chambers for consciousness, each requiring a different key to unlock. The first door is the threshold. This is where most spiritual seekers and manifestation practitioners get stuck. The threshold represents the boundary between your conditioned perception of reality and the vast field of possibilities beyond it. What makes the threshold challenging isn't that it's difficult to reach. It's that we've been trained not to recognize it. In fact, you brush against the threshold multiple times every day without realizing it. Those moments when time seems to stand still, when you're completely absorbed in something, when inspiration strikes from seemingly nowhere. These are all glimpses of the threshold, but we've been conditioned to dismiss these experiences as temporary anomalies. The key to passing the threshold isn't effort. It's recognition. When you learn to recognize those moments for what they are, you can begin to extend them, to hold the door open longer each time. The second door is the void. This is the space between your current reality and the manifestation of your desire. In conventional manifestation practices, this space is viewed as a waiting period, the time between asking and receiving. But what perspective keeps you trapped in linear time and separated from what you desire? In truth, the void is not empty space. It's the field of all possibilities before they collapse into form. When you enter the void consciously, you're not waiting for something to manifest. You're participating in its creation at the quantum level. This is where most people turn back, because the void requires surrendering the very thing we cling to most desperately, our perception of who we are. The key to navigating the void isn't faith or patience. It's identity, flexibility. You must be willing to let go of who you think you are to become what you're manifesting. The third door is convergence. This is where potential collapses into experience, where the quantum field of possibilities becomes tangible reality. Most manifestation approaches treat this as a passive process, something that happens to you. But when you operate from the God frequency, you understand that the convergence is an active co-creation between you and the field. The key to mastering the convergence is quantum certainty, a state of knowing so completely that possibility and reality become indistinguishable. This isn't positive thinking or belief, it's the dissolution of the boundary between observer and observed. At the convergence, you don't manifest something into your reality. You recognize that you and what you desire are expressions of the same field. These 3 doors are protected by resistant shadows, aspects of consciousness testing your readiness to access the God frequency. These aren't obstacles to overcome, they're integration opportunities. Each shadow contains energy that, when properly understood and integrated, becomes fuel for manifestation. These shadows don't need elimination, they need alchemy. When truly understood, doubt transforms into discernment. When the illusion of control is released, it becomes true power. And when attachment is transmuted, it reveals itself as love, the ultimate creative force in the universe. The journey through these three doors is not linear, it's recursive. You'll pass through them again and again, each time with greater awareness and less resistance. This builds capacity to sustain the God frequency for longer periods, until it becomes your predominant state of being. Now we arrive at practical application, the God frequency activation protocol. We begin with conscious breathing, not ordinary breathing, but quantum breath activation. Each inhale draws universal energy through specific meridian points in your body, while each exhale releases the energetic patterns that maintain separation. This breathing technique is only the foundation, and as we progress, you experience unexpected pattern interrupts that bypass your conscious mind's tendency to analyze and resist. These pattern interrupts might include sudden shifts in the guidance, moments of silence, or paradoxical instructions that thinking mind cannot process. Throughout this process, you establish consciousness anchor points, specific physical and mental triggers that you can return to later. These anchors create instant access to the God frequency in your daily life. If you find yourself at the threshold where you are in the God frequency in those moments, you must anchor them. It can be through a song, a physical gesture, a touch. You might place your hand over your heart while simultaneously focusing on the space between your eyes. This combination of physical and mental focal points creates a unique signature in your consciousness that you can activate any time to quickly shift into the God frequency. The protocol employs the resonance cascade technique, a progressive building of energetic intensity. We begin with simple awareness, gradually introducing more complex consciousness movements that build upon one another. And each layer activates deeper levels of your being until you reach a critical threshold where resonance becomes self-sustaining. This creates an energetic cascade effect, much like a quantum chain reaction where your entire being shifts into alignment with the God frequency all at once. As you feel this shift, it will guide you to the reality bridge visualization. It's not merely imagining an outcome, it's creating a tangible bridge between potential and manifestation. You experience your desired reality as if it's already happening, not as a future possibility, but as a present actuality existing in a parallel dimension that you're merging with. This bridges the gap between the possibility and the experience, allowing for the convergence, allowing the quantum potential to collapse into your physical reality with unprecedented speed and precision. The protocol involves specific focal points within your consciousness. First, attention moves to the space between your eyebrows, activating the intuitive center. Then awareness expands to encompass the entire cranial cavity, creating a consciousness amplification chamber. From there, focus extends down the spine, activating each energy center with precise frequency alignments. But the true power emerges when awareness suddenly shifts to the space around your body, extending 3 feet in all directions. This energetic space is your own personal field, the immediate quantum environment where manifestation begins. As this expanded awareness stabilizes, you're guided to identify specific focal points, areas within your field where creative potential concentrates. These aren't arbitrary. They correspond to specific coordinates in your personal quantum field. The final phase involves integration, where your expanded awareness returns to your physical form, but retains connections to the God frequency. This creates a powerful bridge between the unlimited potential of the quantum field and your daily life experience. So let's try this now. Let's enter into the God frequency So for a moment, I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs completely. And as you exhale, release any tension, any limitations, any energetic patterns that no longer serve you. With each breath, you're not just relaxing, you're recalibrating your entire being to its original frequency. Now bring your awareness to the space within your chest and feel a gentle warmth beginning to emanate from your heart center. This warmth isn't just physical, it's the first indication of your connection to the infinite field of creation. Allow it to expand with each breath, growing stronger and more vibrant. As this energy builds, imagine it extending beyond the boundaries of your physical form. You're not contained by your body, you are the field that it creates. Feel yourself expanding outward in all directions, becoming vast, boundless, without limitation. In this expanded state, you exist as pure creative potential. Now direct your awareness to the space approximately 2 feet above your head. Here exists a point of connection to your higher consciousness, the aspect of you that exists beyond time and space. Feel a gentle stream of light flowing from this point down through the crown of your head, filling your entire being with divine intelligence. This stream of consciousness carries the codes of creation itself. As it moves through you, it activates dormant aspects of your DNA, awakening your innate ability to manipulate reality at the quantum level. Feel these codes ignite within every cell of your body, every thought in your mind, every emotion in your heart. Now bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows. This is not just an energy center, it's the quantum gateway to the infinite field of possibilities. This is the gateway to the God frequency. From this point, you can access any reality, any timeline, any manifestation. Feel this gateway opening, expanding, becoming a portal through which your consciousness can travel beyond the limitation of physical existence. As this portal fully opens, you begin to feel a distinct shift in your vibrational state. This sensation might manifest as a tingling or a warmth. This is the initial indication that you're entering the God frequency, this state of consciousness from which all creation springs. Now see a light emanating from the center of your being, extending outward in all directions. This light represents your authentic creative power, the essence of who you truly are beyond all conditioning and limitation. Allow it to grow stronger, more radiant, until it encompasses not just your physical form, but your entire reality field. Within this field of light, feel yourself merging with the universal field of creation, with God Himself. The boundary between you and the divine dissolves completely. You are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are that force experiencing itself through human form. Feel this truth not as a concept, but as your lived reality. Now for a moment, allow your mind to become completely silent, letting go of who you are, of all the aspects of your identity, entering into that void. In this silence, you'll notice something remarkable. Consciousness continues even without thought. This thoughtless awareness is your natural state, pure being, pure creation, pure potential, the God frequency. Rest in this state, allowing yourself to experience existence beyond the limitations of the human thinking mind. From this state of pure awareness, bring to mind something you wish to manifest in your life. Don't think about it as something distant or in the future. Experience it as already present, already real. See it, feel it, know it as an extension of your being. This can be anything that you want. As you hold this manifestation in your awareness, feel it resonating with your entire being. There's no separation between you and what you desire. It isn't something to attract or achieve. It's an expression of who you are in the God frequency. Feel the absolute certainty of this truth permeating every aspect of your consciousness. Now integrate these powerful affirmations into your being. I am the field from which all experiences emerge. My consciousness is the creative force of the universe. What I focus on with certainty must manifest. It is the law of my being. I create what I am. I am in the God frequency. The God frequency is my natural state of being. As you embody these truths, feel reality beginning to reorganize itself around your consciousness. The quantum field responds not to what you want, but to who you're being. And you are being the God frequency, the original creative force of the universe itself. Now create a reality bridge, a tangible connection between your current experience and the manifestation you desire. See yourself walking across this bridge, each step bringing you closer to the full embodiment of your creation. Feel it becoming more solid, more real with each breath, until you completely merge with the reality where your manifestation already exists. Take a final deep breath, knowing that you have permanently altered your relationship with reality. You're no longer subject to circumstances, you're the creator of them. The God frequency isn't something you temporarily access. It's what you remembered yourself to be. You are God. Now, as you bring your awareness back, maintain this connection to the expanded state that you're in. You're bringing the God frequency with you into your daily life. Now place your hand over your heart and take 3 deep breaths. With each breath, feel the divine intelligence flowing into your being. With each exhale, affirm, I am sealed in the God frequency. When I fully accessed the God frequency, I held the intention for greater clarity in my teachings. Within days, I received unexpected invitations to speak at events that I hadn't applied to. This led to connections with 3 key individuals who later became essential collaborators. These relationships opened doorways to resources, platforms, and opportunities I couldn't have specifically visualized. From that single point of conscious creation, an entire ecosystem of manifestations emerged, each one leading to the next in an ever-expanding spiral. This is how the God frequency works, not as isolated manifestations, but as creation lineages that unfold with their own divine intelligence. When you operate from this state, you're not just manifesting individual experiences, you're birthing entire timelines of creation that evolve naturally from your initial frequency. Now I invite you to join a challenge with me. For the next 21 days, spend at least 5 minutes daily in the God frequency state, using the protocol that you've learned today. Document your manifestations and synchronicities and consciousness shifts. Share your experience in the comments below this video. As our collective field grows stronger, we create a resonance chamber that amplifies everyone's manifestation power exponentially. Remember, you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are that force experiencing itself through human form. The God frequency is not something that you access. It's what you are. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.